Hi, my name is Charu Malik and I welcome you all to a brand new series of my podcast, Destination Dialogues by Charu. This is episode 1 of my 3-part series on Southern India. In this episode, I will talk about Cochin, popularly known as Kochi, which is a major port city along the Malabar coast of India. It's a charming coastal town in Kerala known for its rich history, culture, and beautiful waters. Our plan was to be there for 3 days, Saturday morning to Monday night. It's easy to get there, connectivity is good, just fly into the Cochin International Airport. I enjoyed my window seat as it offered great landing views, beautiful clouds up and a lovely green cover below. The airport is small and charming, very unlike airports in metro cities like Delhi and Mumbai that we are used to. And by the way, a fun fact for you all. Did you know this airport is the world's first 100% solar powered airport? Quite a feat, I must say. We landed in Kochi around 11 am and booked an Uber to get to our hotel. This was the Fort Kochi Heritage Hotel, of course, as the name suggests, in the heart of the Fort Kochi area. I'd like to highlight 2 key points at this stage. 1. Uber and Ola operate in Kochi. This is great as you don't have to rely on expensive hotel cabs or struggle to get local taxis. 2. In terms of accommodation, what I understand is that there are 2 main areas which you could choose to stay at. 1. It could be a boutique hotel in the Fort Kochi area, which is what I did, or you could stay at a luxurious 5-star property like a Taj or a Trident in the Wellington Island. Each will have its own charm. More about this later. We finally reached our hotel around 2:30 pm. To be honest, it was not like the cool property at all. Not large and spread out, not lavish or elaborate, but still very nice, just different. It was more like a resort or a boutique hotel. Small, sweet and cozy with just 27 rooms. Warm and welcoming staff and a nice central pool area to hang out. Now, let's talk about the key things to do in Fort Kochi. First and foremost, explore Fort Kochi on foot. Enjoy walking the lanes. Check out the majestic rain trees, very unique to this area. Visit the many different art galleries and cafes on literally every street. Kashi Art Cafe, David Hall and Pandal Delhi, French Toast, Leela, Kissa, to just name a few. Most certainly, sign up for a heritage walk in the area. It takes a good 1.5 hours in the morning, pre-breakfast. One learns about the history of the port city, especially the strong colonial influence of the Dutch, Portuguese and the British. And then one also gets to actually see this influence in the architecture of the buildings there, like the Tower House, Santa Cruz Basilica, Francis Church, Vasco House, the bastions and so on. Of course, one also gets to see the promenade, the Arabian Sea, the interesting flora of the area, hear the origins of the famous Chinese fishing nets, stroll on the Mahatma Gandhi beach, see the street art, the parade ground and so on. A very wholesome experience indeed. At this point, I'd like you to take a look at my Instagram pictures and videos on my handle Destination Dialogues by Charu. Next and third, please make a visit to Matanchari. You could hail an auto for this. There, take a tour of the Dutch Palace. This has a collection of great historical artifacts. Antique furniture, weapons, statues of Kochi kings, their coronation robes, palanquins and so on. What stood out for us were the murals, depictions from the Ramayana. If you enjoy history and are keen to learn, hire a guide, something no one told us and we missed out on. From what I understood, guides have to be pre-booked. Find out maybe from your hotel as we were unable to find one at the palace. Strange but true. Also within Matanchari, do walk the lanes of the Jew town. It's clean, it's touristy and it's very pretty. Known for its antique shops, souvenir buys and spice markets. Also, visit the Jewish synagogue while there. 3. If possible, grab a meal at the Ginger House restaurant. Not only is it done up beautifully, but also has lovely views of the Arabian Sea. Another option which we didn't do but was a recommendation was coffee at the Mocha Art Cafe. Next, let's come to food. Non-vegetarians are spoiled for choice. Fish, prawns, chicken, mutton, beef, you name it, you get it. For vegetarians like me who were keen to try local food, best options were coconut curries, veg stew, appams and Malabar pratas. All yummy. Since we've talked about stay as well as food, let me mention this. There are numerous boutique hotels in Fort Kochi and each has its own restaurant. So one has ample choice to pick from, both to stay and to eat. There's Fort Kochi where we stayed and their restaurant is called Jetty. Some others, to name a few, are Old Harbour House, Malabar House, Neemrana Tower House, Brunton Boatyard, 8 Bastion and Azora. You could stay at one and hop to many others for lunch or dinner. Additionally, there are various standalone cafes and restaurants too, like Loafers, Travail and Living Earth Yoga. Now, how can we not talk about shopping on any trip? So, what are the things to buy? Certainly, local spices like cardamom, cinnamon, bay leaf and black pepper. Also, incense sticks and soaps with fragrances, jasmine, sandalwood, rose, lavender and so on. And clothes, cotton kurtas, dresses and saris. There are national chains like Fab India and Anoki, but also several local stores like Kochi Kochi and eco-friendly ones like Ambal. Some other fun things to do in Fort Kochi are yoga or aerial yoga classes at Living Earth Yoga. You could also take cooking classes or watch a Kathakali performance. For things to do and places to eat in Kochi, I used an app called Urbanaut. You can try it too. In fact, just to also share with you, the other resource I used for this trip was the blog by Fort Kochi titled 15 Things to Do in Beautiful Fort Kochi. Check it out. Note that thus far I've talked only about things to do in Fort Kochi. Since we had a late night flight back, we had a few hours to explore the Kochi main city in the evening. Uber rental was a great option here. While on our way to the city, we came across a beautiful walkway maintained by the Kochi port. We got off our cab and took a stroll there, enjoying the lovely sunset views. We then visited the Rainbow Bridge and enjoyed the pleasant breeze and a leisurely walk at Marine Drive. If you are keen and have the time, you could take a boat ride there, which we skipped. If you are a shopping freak, do visit the local market area, MG Road, Broadway, and the Lulu shopping mall. I had researched a little and found a small but pretty church to see, named Infant Jesus. But thanks to our Uber driver, who additionally took us to the George Forain Church, also known as Edapally Church. It was simply stunning. I have been to several European countries and seen many churches, but this one was nothing short of sheer magnificence. I often wonder why no one talks about it. I didn't find a mention of it anywhere while I was researching for my trip. It truly was a hidden gem. I would urge you to take a few minutes while on your way to the airport to visit this beauty. And so with that, I come to an end of my trip. But before closing, one key question everyone asks me is how many days are sufficient for Kochi? We had planned to be just in the Fort Kochi area and explore it in a relaxed and leisurely way, and so 2.5 days was good. But here are some other options to explore. If you have an extra half day, let's say, you could take a boat ride from Kochi to the backwaters of Vizag, which includes lunch at a local village. This is roughly a 6-hour day trip, right? Alternatively, of course, you could while away your time shopping in the Kochi main city. If you are staying in the Fort Kochi area but you want to indulge in some luxury, you could book a one-night stay in Wellington Island at a luxury 5-star hotel. On the other hand, if your primary place of stay is, say, the Taj or the Trident, then just remember that for any action, for any things to do, you will have to go to the Fort Kochi area. So do plan your trip accordingly. And of course, if you have few extra days, you could club Alleppey or Kumarakom because each is roughly only about a 2-hour drive from Kochi. So you could book 1 or 2 nights there. I hope this episode was both helpful and fun. Do visit my Insta handle for pictures and videos on charming Cochin. You'll find me at Destination Dialogues by Charu. Take care and see you later.